26th of November 2024, Tuesday, 10:48 a.m. Now Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. For 27 years, I have been attacked by 3 different groups of terrorists. And that's not even including the gossip that came through people who conspired against me because they heard the rumors from the terrorist, which includes cyber terrorists. Though there has been actual physical terrorism that led up to the indirect murder of my father. But this video is just to express the recent attacks as I try to make my way back to the covenant priesthood religion. My mother was scammed nearly less than $100,000. I lost thousands. And also they secretly recorded some audios when I was in discussion with someone, revealing the type of protection that I had for my cousins, the Russian spies, who were protecting me from the Chinese spies, the communists who indirectly killed my father. And they sent those audios and reports to the last church I attended. That was one of the reasons why I was removed. Back in 2006, some of these gossipers at the time who came to know about the false slander against me was sent to the LDS church, and the bishop got deceived to some degree and he removed me. I went down to Albany and I loved it, went to church there, and the bishop called me into the office and he heard the gossip and he removed me. However, I knew something about him. He removed a mental member of the church quite ruthlessly. Anyway, and he lived a few houses away from him and his mother, and he had verbally abused the mother for having a disabled, bad behaviour child who was sort of retarded type of, but negatively, and called her F and C. When he knew I knew about it, he dropped the false accusation charges against me because he was guilty, and I could attend the church. I think from around then I started to get very lawyer-minded, even though I cannot withstand lawyers, especially lawyer bishops, and became a whistleblower. And then I started to defend myself, protect myself in ways that could have made the situation worse, but I wasn't going to let the bull get me by the horns and destroy another family. I have had several marriages destroyed by these cyber terrorists. They recently informed a person that I know who was still a member of the church but left after what happened to me, disgusted by how the gossip is not only maliciously evil, but how the leaders of the church are bewitched and fall for it because of so many people believe it. The slander, discrimination against me and defaming my character. It even led me to go to prison, defamed, and when they found out I was innocent, I was immediately released in America. 2 men in black got me out, and I think to this day they weren't aliens. They were Illuminati, and they were defending the church because I was a temple recommend holder when I went to prison. It wasn't for long. And when the Latter-day Saint members here found out that I'd been to jail, it just took telling one person. I was treated like a leper criminal. I attempted suicide a few times. I rope broke, met the Lord, and in the dream or the actual unconscious or whatever, and he told me he even died for my suicide and my sins. Now I'm a survivor, but what happened recently cleaned out my bank account and my mother's. That's devastating. I told my best mate, and he said, at least you got your house. I've lost everything, my family, like Job, because of this cyber terrorism. And the moment I tried to come back into the church, they secretly spied on me. This is high tech, and sent those audios out to different churches and people, and everyone has been deceived. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. My mate, who was the good Samaritan that stopped to help me and got me out of a mental hospital after all this cyber terrorism over the last 27 years, he got on his motorbike one night, come rushing down to Mandurah, a few hours away from the city, to be baptised by me. And he had a head-on collision, had his throat ripped out, and he was my guitarist, and we were going to tour the world performing, and he was the lead singer and the guitarist. He never got over that. He never went back to church, and he questioned why would God allow him to have a fatal accident like that. 6 weeks in a coma, just because he was flying down on his motorbike to be baptized. 7 devils to everyone trying to become a covenant member, or is a member perhaps, compared to 1 devil over an entire city of all the other churches, which Satan did say to the founder prophet that they were all wrong and all an abomination. I took offence to that originally, that statement, but then after being kicked out of the Church of Christ, I can see why the prophet said, the founder prophet, that it was an abomination. They don't have any priesthood authority. Some of these churches, such as Baptist Church of Christ, are set up, structured in a way where there's committees and answering to elders and things, and they just throw you out, vote you out. There's no prayer, there's no second chance. At least the LDS church, they will get down and kneel with you, and you say the prayer, and they'll go by the Spirit and discern, right? But unfortunately, back in 2006, I was already excommunicated, and I had been approved to come back in by the prophet and so forth, returned from the Middle East. But unfortunately, that wasn't a prayer session, that was an instant removal, because gossip had reached the ears of the bishop. false accusations everywhere. The only thing I know I did was I was comparing Islamism with Mormonism, told a few people, but of course that gossip ended up convincing the bishop I was an apostate or something. No. I hadn't been to the LDS church for 2 years. There was no LDS church in the in that Islam country where I served and for 2 years went through war and terror. So that was where justice did rob mercy, and the Bible says, you know, a true leader, a true Christian, true church, justice does not rob mercy, or mercy doesn't rob justice. But then again, all the letters came in and so forth, and a pile of accusations. These cyber terrorists are out to destroy. Now they take your money. They've taken at least one life, and it's almost impossible for me to get on my feet. It's absolutely devastating to the core. I think it's worse than Job, because at least for how long did it happen for Job? He got back on his feet, he got new wife, new family, new kids. They were all murdered originally. How long did it go on for? This is 27 years. This is not right. And I have every right to be angry, and I made some pretty angry videos. Yeah, it leads you insane. The worst aspect of it destroyed my family. And now my mother had a bank account cleaned out, and it's destroyed her. And all this gossip about me having polygamous wives all over the world, and I'm some type of bigot or something. And my mum believed it. It's just crazy how my own family, blood relations, kids, everything have brought into the lie. So I certainly walked the path alone. One of my friends who was a temple recommend holder, even though she was a sister and got me through COVID, I was practically dying. I was that sick. I was stuck in another country. Even she got the threats and the letters, and was told, and we were told that it would be sent to the church to have her removed. So that hasn't happened yet. But this is a person of high standing, and there are proof of some audio conversations before she was even in the church, because I let her into the church. And it does not matter who she was before she came into the church. But if they hear that, they're going to think she's red light district. She was never part of all of that. Never. But see, we have conversations with people, and it's been secretly recorded by cyber terrorists. Even when your phone is put down, if you don't put it on aeroplane mode, they can hear everything, and they have. And I'll just finish up with this. One day I was going into a diabetic attack, suicidal, everything, because of what's been happening. And the phone rang, and it was an angel standing there, hovering in the air. Don't know what it was. Put it down. This happened twice, and the third time there was a message. Behold, Daryl, I have a marvelous work and wonder for you to do. There was a lot more, but I didn't read it. I flicked back, find out who it was coming from, disappeared before my eyes. It was supernatural. That was just one supernatural experience I've had out of many. I think I was getting some comfort beyond the veil for what I'd been going through. But right now, all the money I had to do my overseas trips, help my daughter, who needed help, all sorts of things, being stripped of that. My mum can't help me, she's been stripped. I'm at the rock bottom, but it'll take me 6 months to recover. And all I can say is, yeah, you're tested, all right, but the fact is, you don't know who your friends are until you've been tested like this and see who turns their back on you. And if the leaders of the church turn their back on you, you've had it in a sense. Your journey is over according as far as attending church. So I just pray that my new start, um, that the humbleness, meekness, submissiveness of these leaders will not buy into the lie, because it is a lie. Um, the only thing I feel guilty about is my unrighteous anger. I'm morally clean. There's nothing else that's really an issue. So I just got to watch my tongue, watch my anger. I speak hard words. I didn't always was strong, but I am now, but I'm also incredibly unwell because the thought in the back of my mind is still there, that suicidal thing. And the only way I'd do it was bang, one bullet in the head, hopefully not survive and end up crippled. But I'm not, so don't panic. But I know that where your heart is your treasure, and if your treasure is not based on money and anything, well, that's great. But what bad if you're kicked out in the street, you don't even have a house, and you end up a beggar, and you've got no nice clothes and you stink, and you want to attend a church? See, then you're in trouble, because I've seen people removed from churches that are in those situations, and they have no idea what they've been through. They're just treated like lepers and criminals. So I hope that doesn't happen to me again. I'm trying to get on my feet, and this recent cyber terrorism and secretly recording conversations, which has nothing to do with anything that would stop me from being part of a church. It's just people get shocked, they get scared, because there are thugs out there. Some are trying to protect me and others are trying to kill me. And that conversation got recorded, and of course a very weak bishop or pastor is just going to say, we can't have him attend because his life is too much in danger. That's pretty weak, right? You can't just protect the goody-goody and the righteous in that sense. You need to outreach to people who have hit rock bottom and stop and help the wounded man, as the Good Samaritan did, and Jesus said was the better example. While the Levite priest and rabbi went on to the temple, busy. Jesus came for the sinners, not for the saints. It's a hospital for sinners, not a museum for saints. I hope, despite everything that I've lost recently, as I've tried to come back into the Covenant Church, just as my mate came flying down on his motorbike to be baptized and had a head-on collision and got his throat ripped out. And he saw an angel too, by the way, and the angel told him he only needed to be saved, and he didn't believe in anything in relation to exaltation and restoration of priesthood after that. Either Satan got him, or he was stopped. And I am being stopped, but I don't really have much more to say. I've been very positive recently. I've been filled with spirit, but after what happened, you get all your money stripped from the bank, and you have one of your relatives murdered, and you have thousands of gossip going on, and letters and audio sent in from your past and your associations because you're trying to protect yourself, and so you have people in high places, thugs or whatever, and they find out, and you're on the radar. If somebody was threatening your life over and over and over, and you were a fugitive. I mean, you saw that movie with Mel Gibson, The Fugitive, or was it Harrison Ford? Can't remember which one it was. Uh, you take action to spare your life and your family. I'm grateful my two daughters are still alive. They threatened to kill them, and that didn't happen. but there was at least one death as a result of this terror that has been tracking and following me for 27 years. I hope any bishop, pastor out there is strong enough to handle it and be a real, true Christian, because no point throwing the baby out with the dirty bathwater. I'm innocent, I've been framed, my sin is unrighteous anger, a few things like that, but nothing serious. And I deserve a second chance and a clean break. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.